Okay, so I know it's different client to client, but would you personally prefer to build new construction or buy a home and completely renovate it?
I will say, from a perspective of having clients come in and say they want to build brand new,
Yeah.
the amount of times that they actually go through with it,
Slim to none.
slim to none.
Yeah.
Because once you actually start looking at everything, timelines, actual prices, once you want to
can
do the
buy
upgrade.
Yeah, the
way
initial
more.
price is
Yes.
not the actual price,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
You can buy more house than you can build,
Yeah.
typically.
But I wouldn't say either that I'm opposed
Yeah.
to building, but if I were going to build, it would be because I want to be in a specific area, specific street, and
Okay.
the lots that are available there have houses on them right now, and it would have to be torn down,
Okay.
which is
She's saying that because we have a spot in mind. Like we have an area in mind that if the right place came up, we would
You would
probably
build.
Yeah.
buy, tear down, and start fresh.
yeah.
Yeah.
But
Because
it's
we've looked
only
at
one
enough.
spot.
Yeah, and we've also looked at enough down there to know, like, we would really
not
be
coming up.
sacrificing to live in an existing house there.
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, so to make it worth our while, we would
Yeah.
go big and go home. Yeah.
And we also have not had any fear of renovations. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah.
we have never lived in a house that, like, we've owned two places together in our lives, and both we have pulled down most of and redone. So I don't know. I think it really depends on who
Yeah.
you are. Like, Jen and I will go into almost any house and see it for what it is. Like, we'll see the bones, we'll see what can be done, what can be moved.
We see the 4 exterior walls and then
Yeah, like it's
yeah.
it's very rare. Even, and I have this problem with clients sometimes too, because sometimes I get into it and I'm like, oh, you could do this, or you could, like, and some of them don't necessarily want
Yeah.
to, right? But I mean, if they are open to, you know, making renovations, like I typically throw out ideas that, like, you know, you could increase your floor plan space by doing this or moving this here or shifting this some way. And most of the time they're like, you know, I never really thought of that, or I didn't
Yeah.
really like,
Yeah.
that didn't really clue into me that we could do that. Like,
Yeah.
there's just so many people are very focused on what they see in front of them.
I think, like, for clients who want to customize a home for their lifestyle now, and, like, even taking into account, oh, our family's gonna grow in the
Yeah.
next 5 years, like, building's a great option. I think who you build with very much matters, though.
Oh, for sure.
Agreed.
So,
Yeah.
just,
Well.
yeah.
I think too, and again, this is more personal decision as well, but I think if I were to want to build, it would have to, like, your budget would have to increase. Like, I feel like people say, okay, you can do a new build for, say, $550,000 or $600,000, but if you're gonna do the new build, I don't think it's the place to cheap out. Like, I think if you're gonna
I
do
agree,
the
yeah.
new build, you have to be prepared that I'm gonna do some of these, like, higher end finishings, and I'm going
Yeah.
to pay for some of these upgrades because you're never gonna do it again. Some people, like, they don't care about that, and it's totally fine. I want to be in the brand new 500,000, but I think that and people are often don't quite understand that the price that you see on the listing is not the price
final
of
price.
the actual home.
Yeah.
So like, typically you can find a house that's, you know, 5 years older than this one that has a finished basement for pretty
Right.
much the
Yeah.
same price. And you
absolutely.
can't finish that basement for that jump in price.
No,
Like, you can't.
No, you can't.
No.
And I think too, like, Logan and I were both raised by parents. Well, your parents and my parents both built houses growing up. And we kind of saw that and said we don't love that idea and don't really want to do that ourselves. But we also grew up with parents that, like, really believed in, like, building equity, sweat equity. They were excited by a project. We still seem to be excited by a project, even though it means chaos within the house for a while. I don't know how we'll deal with this house when we're out of projects. I don't know what we'll do with ourselves.
There's always a project here.
Yeah.
There's always a project.
We get some enjoyment out of it, out of re-envisioning a space and redesigning.
The carpet's next.
Oh, yeah, let's go next.
Carpet,
Don't pan the
to
camera.
the carpet, please.
Don't pan the
Anna.
camera.
Yeah,
Oh, you're right. It's like we both were raised by parents who like literally dug their foundations, built the houses themselves. Like, I mean, it was a very different time than it is now.
Of course.
But
Yeah.
I think that just instilled in us that like we can do any of those things. Like,
And you know, that's probably the difference too, is we had parents that while they built new, they were moving to a turnkey house.
Oh, yeah,
we were
for
walking
sure.
on plywood floors.
Yeah.
We were walking like until my parents saved up enough money to do the flooring. And so maybe that's just what we've become accustomed to at this point, but
it was also too
Well, that's
like
your experience,
Yeah.
right? So
yeah, and not like neither of us grew up in like a really I don't know, like super rich families. Like our parents scrimped and saved to do these things. So it wasn't like if my dad said, hey, let's put a sunroom on the house, it wasn't because they hadn't like thought it through forever, but it did just happen that it was like, you know, you're 12 and your dad goes, let's go dig some sonotubes, right? Like, so you just did the stuff, right? And it was, I don't know, I find it very different coming from like that perspective than I'm gonna hire a builder
To do that.
to get this house done for me. That I'm, you know, like I like the connection to what we physically do to the house.
Yeah.
Like even though we've hired construction
Yeah.
people to do some of the stuff in our home, like there's still a lot of things that I like to do. You know, timeline doesn't always work out, so it makes sense. But it's that kind of like pride of ownership. I sort of feel like there's a bit of that lost when someone does it for you. I don't know. That's just a personal, you know, hot take maybe. I don't know. But it's also just funny when you see how many clients who do build new, I've almost never not heard from them after it's done. Like you almost hear right away that like, oh, I wish we'd done this, or I wish we'd done that, or these, you know, like it's such a long process. And I feel like people have a very hard time, you know, even if you go in a house and you like look at what do I want to renovate, people struggle with that. It's even harder for people to be like, this is a house on paper.
Yeah.
This is going to be the house I'm living in.
Yeah.
Like
You're guessing what looks good.
Oh
for
my
you.
goodness. Like if you're not good
I-
with finishes and fit, like
Yeah.
it's a tough thing for many people to get through.
I even find it easier myself personally, like seeing a house that needs to be totally gutted, the potential of it, than even seeing a building plan on paper, like and envisioning it. Like I think it's
I agree.
easier to envision like being in the space.
Oh, for sure.
I agree. And what I will say, if you're planning to do those renovations, and this is the mistake we made on our last house together, was that we should have lived in the space for a little bit first
yeah.
to see how it worked for us. We just renovated the whole thing before we moved in, and then it's like, oh, you know what, I might have put that pantry there, or you know, like just little things.
But you don't know until you actually
Seem
start
good in
living.
theory.
Don't
Yeah.
know until you like see the flow of the property as you live there, like what are the main traffic area, like, you know, that kind of stuff.
But it did give us like major growing stepstones, like from our last house to this house.
sure.
Like when we did our new house, when we were doing the kitchen, it was like, this is what I want. And even like we worked with a designer and like she came up with good ideas and I was like, absolutely not. Like
Yeah.
But there were
this is
things,
like the
yeah.
thing I need.
were
I
deal
need this and
breakers,
this and
yeah.
this. Like I work in the kitchen a lot.
Yeah.
These are the things I need to have. I like, as dumb as it sounds, like you need your triangle, you know, your sink,
It's not
fridge,
dumb,
stove.
it's-
Like,
But
Yeah,
I
it's
think
function,
I
yeah.
think that's where lots of people that do the new build get caught up on the price, because in order
Yes.
to make those customizations, you are at a higher
have to
price
pay.
point. You
Yep.
are not at the price point that is your entry level
Your
new
standard
build.
build.
No.
Yep.
No,
for sure.
not at all. Yeah.
And then when you're comparing what you can get price point wise, typically you can buy more than you can build.
For sure.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah. I think it comes down to what you value more in your house.
Yeah.
Obviously, you're buying resale. Not everything's new. If you buy a new home, you know the shingles should be
Yeah.
good for 25, 30 years. The furnace is new, hot water, like everything's brand new.
For sure.
And I do think there's still a sense of like the pride of ownership of saying, I built this
Yeah.
house, not
Yep.
with my hands,
Yep.
but like
Without a doubt.
No, I
telling your
designed
family,
it. Yeah.
Yep.
I just built a brand new home, like come see it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's special too, just as special as
yeah.
if a resale was kind of pulling you that way.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's,
yeah.
But
it's like you
also-
say,
yeah.
totally personal.
Yeah,
Like,
100%.
And for me, this is probably opposite of what I should be as a realtor because I know what looks good. I see it. I see what sells for really.
Yeah.
But when it comes to putting together the idea,
difficult.
I don't like that. I
No.
get analysis paralysis. I will think
Yeah.
about a
Too many
drawer
options.
pull for like, and then I'll be on some weird website in the middle of the night. Like, but what about this drawer pull? I've never seen one like.
Yep.
We hired a designer to not have
I was
to
going to
deal
say,
with
you
a
want
lot of
someone
that.
in
For
your
sure.
court that knows how to
Yeah.
take your ideas and put them to life.
Exactly.
We like these colors. We like this general plan. Help me.
But
Yeah.
but when you're building new, you
That's
have a
not for everyone.
lot of decisions to make all at once. And I do see people get burnt out in that process
Yeah.
and
Yep.
just be like, whatever.
Yeah.
It is nice though when the builders, like at least the track builders, have like a package.
Yeah.
This is this is A, B, C, D. But
Yeah.
if you're going custom, there's a lot of
Yeah.
choices. How about you? You work a lot in
Yeah.
new construction.
Yeah,
Would
well-
you build or would you always do resale?
I would build. Yeah.
Yeah,
My
you would.
parents have built 2 houses now.
Yeah.
And they've both been stunning and exactly what they have wanted at that time. Like they just got in their house in October and you walk in and it's like, this is them to a T.
That's
And
awesome.
they're so happy. And it doesn't mean there's not little things here and there that they need to contact the builder about, but it's like, there's
will
little
always-
things here and there with resale,
everything,
right?
yeah.
Everything.
There's a
Yeah.
leaky
awesome.
tap, there's whatever. So I would build. I also love resale too. And I think, it's just really what you value at that time in your
sure.
life.
Yeah.
And you're right. Like I've had
Yeah.
people that only wanted new because they didn't want to spend anything else for the next 20 years.
Yeah.
And it's like,
Yeah.
well, that's actually kind of
Valid.
a nice way of looking
Or
at
if
it
you
too. Like,
want to be specifically in Canterbury Crossing, right?
yeah,
Like
yeah.
you're building a brand new house then.
Yeah.
Or
This is your
buying a
option.
very recently built home.
sure.
So
Yeah, for sure.